Welcome to the Moms That Read podcast. I'm Mckenzie.
And I'm Kaylee, and we have a very special guest, Victoria, who has written the Bourbon Boys trilogy. And if you have not read that, you absolutely need to go run right now and read those. But we are going to just chat with her and deep dive into some of the books and get to know Victoria a little bit better. So, what are you currently reading?
Well, yeah, so thanks for having me, by the way.
Yes.
So I'm not reading anything at the moment because I'm like in the throes of developmental editing my next book for my next series.
Yes.
So whenever I'm editing, I typically like don't have time to read. But the second I'm done, I do. I just finished before I started it. I just finished Mate by Allie Hazelwood.
Okay.
And I was a huge, massive fan of Bride
Yes.
that when I finished reading that book, I was like, what do you mean I have to wait for the
Yes.
next one?
Uh-huh.
And that was actually Bride was like was the start of the slope of reading every Allie Hazelwood
Yes.
book for me.
Guilty. Yes.
So it's really funny because like there's like so many people that, that's not their cup of tea, maybe because they
Right.
started with like theoretically books or this women in STEM stories.
Yeah.
But man, I just love all of them. So yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
We are
long-winded answer.
actually, yeah, we're currently reading Mate for our
Yes.
book club
I love
book.
it.
And
Yes.
I'm obsessed with Bride and
Did you love it as much as Bride?
Yeah. I mean, I love how she writes, and I just think she's also just I mean, aside from just being like incredibly like you can tell how like smart and witty she is just by the characters she creates, but there's just something so great about I don't know, about like the way that like Cohen is in this story just
Yeah.
is so my cup of tea of a male main character. Like
Yes.
despite the part where he's like a werewolf, like,
Yes.
but yeah, I loved it. I ate it up. I just I really think like I don't know, paranormal she does very
have you
nicely.
read any other books in like the Omegaverse?
Oh yeah, I love Omegaverse.
Okay.
So
So which ones? Because we've never our first like dip our toe into the Omegaverse was Bride. We did not know what the Omegaverse was before we read Bride.
Oh my gosh, I have so many recommendations for you. There are so many incredible Omegaverse authors.
Okay.
If you want to start somewhere, you should do like Baby and the Late Night Howlers, and
Okay.
that's the book in the series. The second is Lola and the Millionaires, and
Okay.
of course I'm forgetting the author, but I will find it for you right
Yes,
after this.
we'll look it up. We'll look it up.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because I've been interested in like maybe diving
Yeah.
deeper, but I don't know anything about it. So
No.
Yeah, I mean, Omegaverse is like it's like silly to say, but it's like a palate cleanser for me.
yeah,
If I've read too much contemporary and need something different. So yeah, like when I read Bride and like everybody was up in arms about what knotting is, or what a knot is. Like, girl, like you have not read any Omegaverse.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
That's how I was. I was like, wait, this is a thing? Like, I just didn't even know because
yeah.
the last thing I had read that included things that shift was Twilight. And so, other than like
Yeah.
fantasy books, but it
Yeah.
doesn't really include
Omegaverse
anything like that.
Yeah, Omegaverse is a little different though because it's not. I mean, in some there's shifters in some of them, but the ones that I've read, they're like they basically the society is split up between different factions, right? You're an omega, you're an alpha, or you're a beta. And a lot of like the tendencies of how you evolve once you hit a certain age will determine who you are and what you are. And omegas are like basically it's a Y. It ends up being like a very delicious Y choose.
yes.
And yeah, they're wonderful. If you can find a really great series and just fall down that rabbit hole, it's like so much fun to do. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
okay.
strongly recommend
Okay.
Omegaverse.
I will definitely be doing that. Okay. Who are some of your favorite authors or authors that have inspired you?
Well, the list feels like ever growing.
Yes.
I was never a huge reader growing up as a kid, and I
Mhm.
like almost hate that I wasn't because now
Yeah.
I feel like I'll never be able to read all of the books that are
Right.
out in the world that I would love
Right.
to read.
Mhm.
But I think it just had to do with finding the genre that I loved and like
Mhm.
romance. The second I started really diving into romance, I just like nom 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 ate it all up.
Yes. Same. I
So
randomly walked into a library a few years ago and with my kids, and
yeah.
I picked up a Sarah Adams book, and ever
Hmm.
since then, like, I have been binging every romance, fantasy, romantasy, anything with a smidge of romance. I'm like, "Gimme."
It's great, right? And I don't know why that's like such a crazy departure because I've always been such like a hopeless, hopeful romantic. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll eat up the cheesy rom-coms.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I would binge, like not really anymore because like I love me some spice, but like I would binge Hallmark Christmas time,
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
just that I don't know, is it like an adrenaline boost of like that happily ever after, will they, won't they get together thing kind of
Yeah.
Mhm.
always drove me, but I was always a movie girl. So anyway, to answer your
Yes.
question now, when I started writing or when I started reading romance, it was like at the like center of COVID when I felt like
Mhm.
I had
Mhm.
hit the very end of Netflix and there was nothing good to watch anymore. I had a Kindle and
Yeah.
Mhm.
I downloaded a couple of books, and then just searching for more,
Mhm.
I started following Bookstagram accounts,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then found Elsie Silver and
Mhm.
Mhm.
fell in love with her writing. Ended up being a part of her ARC team for like her very first book. Same with
Oh,
like Nikki
wow.
Oh,
Castle.
cool.
And those two were like the first two authors where I like was on their ARC team, like
Mhm.
like really felt like these stories, like they're just so well done. Like, I don't know.
Mhm.
So those two authors absolutely have inspired me. But then I've also like you just kind of evolve, I think, when you find more authors, like what
Yeah.
other rabbit hole you want to go down, right? Like you find
Right.
Omega Group authors that are like really incredible.
Mhm.
Caddy Roberts does these amazing like, redoings of like Hades and Persephone and like the
Ooh.
Neon Gods series. Like that was
Mhm.
so good.
Mhm.
Um and then I like, Sierra Simone is sort of like my so New Camelot series is my Roman Empire series, but I
Mhm.
Yeah.
actually kind of think maybe just Sierra Simone in general is like my Roman Empire author. I
Yeah.
just find her to be incredibly intelligent and I just love the way she tells stories. So
Yeah.
she's another favorite, but like I could go down a roster because I feel like there are so many traditionally published authors, absolutely, but so many indie authors or
Oh,
Yes.
hybrid authors
yes.
Mhm.
where
Yeah.
you're just like, oh my gosh, the level of talent that exists
Mhm.
and like how they tell the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, very inspiring. But I don't know that I even answered your question, but
You
those are
did.
No,
just
You
like
you
did
some of the
great.
did, you
We
authors
love
did.
that.
Well, like, if you didn't so you said you didn't really grow up reading. Have you always wanted to be a writer? Like, was that kind of
no,
separate for you? Oh,
no,
wow.
I mean, so I always wrote in some capacity. Like this is
Mhm.
a second career for me. Before I started
Mhm.
publishing, I was in public relations. I did
Okay.
public relations for tech companies in video technology and video game accessories. So it was
Mhm.
like a whole different world that I lived in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Um,
definitely.
and wrote lots of press releases, lots of marketing material.
Mhm.
But I always really loved creative writing. I commuted into Manhattan. I live in the burbs in Connecticut right now, but I always commuted into Manhattan for like the first, I don't know, 5 years of my 10-year career
Mhm.
in PR. And you just have all this time. It was like before, God, I'm like dating myself. It was before like you could have like your cell phone and keep yourself entertained on a
Right.
train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would like jot down stories about like people on the train that were just like interesting to look at. And like
Yeah.
Mhm.
if you're a commuter on a train, you like don't talk. Like you
Yes.
can't like you're not chit chat with people. So it was like a good way to pass the time and I guess, in a roundabout way fueled my love for like creating characters just by, seeing someone and thinking about what their story could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Um, okay, what was the original spark that started the Bourbon Boys?
Um, so it was actually a dinner that I had with my sister and my brother-in-law. They took me out for my birthday and we got talking about podcasts and
Uh-huh.
bourbon and this whole scandal called Pappygate and how the bourbon industry was catching flack about people, um, basically about counterfeit bottles of bourbon being
Yeah.
sold at excessively like high levels of money. And I just found it so fascinating. And then it just sort of started this whole, I don't know, rabbit hole of thinking about what could be really sexy for my next
Yeah.
series. So Bourbon Boys is the second series. My first one is also based on like a found family in a Colorado town, and they
Okay.
do like sports industry. It's fun and light and very
Yeah.
contemporary. But bourbon, there just always seems something really sexy about bourbon.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, for me personally, I was never a big bourbon drinker.
Yeah.
Um, but I just found it so intriguing and like what a fun way to incorporate a series, especially of like brothers,
Mhm.
having this very like what
Mhm.
seemingly was a masculine industry. And me learning that it is very much not just for the boys.
Yes.
Kind of situation. So, yeah, so it was a dinner and about a podcast and crime
I
that
love that.
sparked my
I love that.
sparked
Okay, so do you have any ties to Kentucky? Or no, that was
No,
just
no,
okay.
no ties. I just figured, if you were going to write a series about making bourbon, you need to go where people
Absolutely.
say makes the best bourbon. So,
Yeah.
I took my best friend Pam. I was like, "Do you want to go on a research trip with me?" My husband was like, "Go for it." And we went to Kentucky for a very long weekend and, did only a fraction of the
Yeah.
bourbon trail and
Mhm.
did as much research and absorbing of everything there as I could. And yeah, that was the beginning of the Bourbon Boys and
Yeah.
Fiasco, Kentucky.
I love that. I have family in Kentucky, so I love
You?
the whole yes, I love the whole Kentucky-based thing.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
It's like always so much fun to hear from readers that are actually from Kentucky
Mhm.
or, like you said, has family there. And I'm
Yes.
like, oh, did I do it justice? You know?
No,
Right.
you did. I loved it. I
And I
loved it.
like, the sophistication of the bourbon. Like, it's in the
Yeah.
South, and, like, there's always this ideology about, like, what the South is, but the bourbon, like,
Mhm.
elevates it and elevates, like,
Huh.
the personality of the men, and I love that so much. So kinda going off of your inspiration, like, with your writing process, with this being a trilogy, did you kinda know from the start what you wanted this entire series to look like, and kinda what was your process when approaching the 3 different books?
No. So my process is really chaotic. I feel like I am forever saying that I'm trying to figure out how to do it better, but I think I just have to lean into the fact that that is my process.
Yeah.
Right,
It's a
Right.
little bit chaotic. I do not have like a full picture of where everybody is going to be
Mhm.
at the end of a series because a
Mhm.
lot of times when I start writing or have written an outline, conversations and banter between characters changes. Like when I
Yeah.
first
Right.
started writing Bourbon and Lies, I I kind of wasn't sure who Hadley's love interest was going to be as the
Okay.
best friend, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, like she has this amazing banter with the older brother who's like
Mhm.
very stoic and, you're like very unclear who he is and what he's about.
Right.
And it was like, well, I think this has to be the
Yeah.
person for her. 'Cause the
Mhm.
chemistry that was just through a few lines of, fictional banter
Mhm.
turned out to be, a whole story that I wasn't expecting to unfold.
Oh,
I
for sure.
knew that I knew that by the time I was done with book 1, done writing it, I knew
Mhm.
that I wanted to tell Lincoln's story next. Because I knew that Hadley and Ace, who are book 3, I wasn't ready to tell their story yet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It just didn't feel ready. I wasn't sure what the suspense element was going to be. And that was so I knew that no matter what,
Yeah.
they were gonna wait. They were
Mhm.
gonna get the end.
I
So
love
I
that.
knew that. I knew by the time I was done with Bourbon and Lies kind of the direction that the other 2 books were
Mhm.
headed. But my writing process is just I think it starts off with a really great twist, whether
Yes.
that is in the plot
Mhm.
or how the 2 main characters meet or know each other. And then I back it up from there. and try to poke holes into why that could be amazing or atrocious.
Mhm.
And then I start a really loose outline. And then I usually start writing. Um, and a lot of times it's discovery. A lot of times, most of the time, actually, I have to go back and rewrite my beginning because
Mhm.
Okay.
how things end up or how I want it to go, my beginning needs to not necessarily change entirely, but like
Mhm.
maybe the exact spot that that scene starts needs to start later.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
a lot of adjustments.
Yeah, I can see
Do
that.
you feel like the suspense or the romance is easier to write?
um, I think. Sorry, I'm gonna sneeze.
No,
I
you're
think I'm
good.
gonna sneeze.
Okay.
I guess I'm not. I apparently have to say it and it goes away. Um, the suspense for me is more challenging.
Mhm.
Because it just is. And I also try to figure out I really love suspense stories where there is a twist that I'm not seeing, but
Mhm.
that is interwoven into the character's journey. So it doesn't just feel like a afterthought. So for me, the suspense is really is hard. It's a harder sell for me, harder to figure out. Maybe that's a better way to say it.
Okay.
Um, the romance I feel like is the fun part. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love writing spice. I
Yeah.
love
Mhm.
writing tension, character banter and conversation is my sweet spot. Like I really
Mhm.
love doing that.
Mhm.
But I like the challenge of suspense and making sure to continue to keep getting better with both elements of it. So, yeah, I mean, I find writing challenging in general.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it should be, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the suspense is definitely the harder one to get to because I don't know, I think everybody is watching thriller or suspense movie
Oh,
or
Yeah.
yeah.
listening to
Mhm.
podcast, so like
Right.
everybody's a sleuth in their own way. So, how can I make the suspense or mystery like really hit
Mhm.
but
I think
not
you
get
did a good
lost?
job though of like picking what the suspense was gonna be and then putting it through the book. Like I love a good romantic suspense book, and I feel like yours was done really well. Like I
Mhm.
loved, especially the second book at the end. I'm not gonna spoil it because she hasn't read the second book
Oh,
yet.
yeah.
No, please don't.
But the person who pops up at the end had my
Yeah.
jaw on the
Yep.
floor. I was like,
Yep.
okay.
I love a good twisty. Yeah.
Yes,
Oh
I
gosh,
love a
Um,
good
yes.
twisty.
do you
Um,
do you have any favorite romantic suspenses? Like do you have any favorite romantic suspense authors or books that
Catherine
you've read that you love?
Cowles,
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
love her. I've read all of her books, almost all.
She's got me hooked. She's got me hooked on Catherine Cowles too.
Yes.
Like, those are so good.
Love.
But I liked how different, like, the Bourbon Boys series was. Like, they're both, like, romantic suspense, but
Yes.
very different in their own way, which
Mhm.
was, like, really nice because you get a little bit of everything from both of them too.
Mhm. I also really like Claire Kingsley.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I just recently read one of hers, and I like how there's like a little POV from
Mhm.
the person who's like
Yes.
out to get them. I love that. So I've read a few of hers, and then I've read recently after Shield of Sparrows a few of Debney Perry's romantic suspense
Oh yeah.
books. So I just Catherine Cowles got me into romantic suspense, and then I went down a rabbit hole. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can make it through all of her series and
Mhm.
then I mean, you went to some great places. Like I love Devaney Paris. I love her Eden series. It's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, you already said Catherine Cowles, but like even like Samantha Young,
Okay.
she's got a couple of series
Mm.
based in like the Scottish Highlands too. So really, yeah,
Ooh.
there's like really great suspense authors. So I love hearing who people are reading
Mhm.
currently.
Mhm.
Yes.
Um, and like I love being a part of that world
Yes.
of authors
Yeah.
because I just think they're so freaking talented. So,
Would you ever write out of the romantic suspense world?
maybe I don't know. I think it would be silly to say this is the only thing I'm going to
Mhm.
do
Mhm.
ever. But I really like writing
Mhm.
in this like subgenre.
Yeah.
I think there's just a lot to play with, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think romantic suspense has a really beautiful way of combining plot with character driven stories.
Mhm.
Um which can sometimes can be a challenge in contemporary romance, right? Because
Yeah.
you need some kind of conflict, and it's really great
Right.
to be able to write an external one that like is woven nicely into the storyline.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so are your characters that you write based off people in the subway, or are they just, like, completely made up?
I mean, they're all made up. They're all fictional people. They're not based on anybody I know. Maybe people I've met or seen, like little features or details about them. Like I had ended up in the emergency room on a New Year's Eve, and the woman that was like checking me out at the front desk, man, oh man, she was so much like the two women, like Romy and Prue from the
Uh-huh.
stories. Like she was a combination of the two of them, where they were just loud and fun and entertaining. Like I think there's like those pieces,
Yeah.
like people that
Mhm.
I like elements of people I've met or people I know woven somehow into characters. But yeah, they're the part about them being fiction is so much fun because you can like make it up as you go along.
Right.
So who's your favorite bourbon boy?
Ugh, oh my gosh. Okay. So I think this is a trick question because the hard part is like when you're like currently writing, it's really easy to love who you're writing
Right.
currently, right? Like they're
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
like
It's the same when
ingrained
I'm
in
reading. I'm, like, hyper fixated
yeah,
on this one male main
for
character.
sure, for sure. So like right now, I think my favorite is Ace. He's
Yeah.
just like there's always kind of been something about him. I mean,
Mhm.
I didn't even realize I had done it, but I'd introduced him first. Like he's the
Mhm.
first male that you
Yeah.
see in the story, and I think I really duped people into thinking he was going to be the MMC.
You did.
Yes,
You
Um,
did.
yes.
watch.
Can attest to
So,
that.
yeah, so that was kind of fun to figure out. But yeah, like I don't know, they all have like really different elements that I enjoyed writing. Like I really loved
Yes.
how Lincoln was had more of a playful side
Mhm.
to him. And writing Grant was like such a heavy
Yeah,
character.
he
Mhm.
He
was.
like had so much baggage and history. And to see him lighten up was really fun. But I think the three of them, Ace. But if I had to, I mean, I don't know if I had to really pick, maybe I don't know. Yeah, I guess it would be Ace.
Well, I was reading Bourbon and Lies, listening to it, and, like, from the minute I was reading Bourbon and Lies, I was so ready for Ace's story, and then we got Ace's story, and I just gobbled it all up. I loved his
Mhm.
story.
Yes. I told her, I was like, after finishing Bourbon and Lies, I was like, I cannot wait for Ace and Hadley's story because
Love it.
just everything Hadley says to Ace and Bourbon and Lies, just in his open mouth response, like, oh dear God, what is this woman gonna say? Like, I love that so much. And I can't wait to
Me
read
too.
his book.
It's fun. Like that chemistry that
Mhm.
you can find between two fictional characters is so much fun when it exists. With
Yes,
them, it
Mhm.
just did.
and especially when one of the characters is unhinged, which we
Oh,
love.
for sure.
Which we
Yeah, I mean,
love.
a lot of he crossed a lot of lines, like
He
very gray.
Yes. Who was the hardest character to write?
Um, I think I don't know. I think Faye was really hard for me at the time.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, I struggled when I was doing my editing with book 2 because I I didn't I had expectations for book 1, but they kind of book 1 exceeded my expectations.
Yeah.
Like people enjoyed it so much, and I think I put so much pressure on myself about book 2 and writing a really great
Yeah.
story, but making the FMC different.
Yeah.
And so I think she was tricky because she had this very heavy traumatic thing happen to her, but there had been enough time that had gone on that she really sort of just became this like superwoman type
Mhm.
person.
Yeah.
So it was hard to balance having her be really strong but also find where she could be vulnerable. So I definitely she was hard. She was a tricky character for me.
Yeah.
So as you're going through kind of like the layout of your books, what is your favorite trope to write within them?
Mm, okay. I mean, I really love any kind of trope where I can write great banter. So
Mhm.
not necessarily enemies to lovers, because I think that has to be like a really specific like combination of things, but I
Mhm.
think it's like that hate to love
Yeah.
Yes.
scenario. Sometimes second chance allows for that too if there's animosity. Um, that's really fun. Although I think if you were to look at tropes and look at like all of the books I've written, people would say that I'm a found family person because that
Mhm.
kind of rings true with
Yeah.
every story I've so I think that's just like it comes naturally. I don't know if I love it so much, but like love it as much as like writing banter, but
Right.
yeah, found family is like a pretty big one too.
Okay, so in your research for all of these books, what is the weirdest thing you've had to Google?
Oh gosh. My Google history is really messed up. I mean, especially for the book in my new series, I'm just like, oh god, clear histories, clear search history. Um, I would say, I don't know because I had to like research a bunch of things about like hidden weapons and blue laws. Like, can you take your clothes off in Kentucky after midnight in a bar? Like, you know, like um, so like there's things like that. Like, what is the like what's the concealed to carry
Mhm.
detail? Like, so a lot of things. Like like where do you need to be cut in the throat in order for you to bleed out? Like, how long
Oh my
does
god.
that take? Like
Right, like, what's the time on
not
that?
like anything that actually ended up in the book, but just things I'm like, "I need to know this."
Yeah,
Right?
So,
right.
Oh my gosh.
Very useful information, you know?
very useful.
Oh my gosh.
Very
Okay,
useful.
so do you listen to music when you write, or do you have a particular song, like, for different characters as you're writing?
Yeah, I do. Like, so sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. If I find sometimes I'll be super focused and it's quiet as hell in here.
Mhm.
Um, or I will oftentimes find a song that I feel really inspired by, and I'll just have it on repeat
Yeah.
for an
Yeah.
entire day of but I create my own Spotify playlist for each book, and while it's a great, like, marketing tool, I
Mhm.
actually genuinely use it, like, that's my writing playlist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's always, like, a series of songs that tend to be what brought the story to life for me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, listening to music.
Okay. Is there a particular scene out of the books that, like, you are especially proud of that you, like, wrote or, like, that the audience stuck to and you didn't expect them to?
Um, I think the scenes that I knew were gonna hit.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Because I feel like at the time when you've reworked a chapter,
Mhm.
you've reworked a couple of chapters and you're like, "Oh yeah, that feels really good." Like I knew the scene in book 2 where Faye puts Lincoln on his knees in front of a crowd was gonna hit really hard.
Yes, it did.
Um so like I knew that that one just felt really good to write.
Yeah.
But I also love these sort of very traumatic opening chapters where you kind of really feel the grittiness of whatever's happened
Uh-huh.
to one of the main characters. Like I really felt really great about the intro scene for Bourbon and Lies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
When you're coming up to that field and you're, finding out why why Grant's partner isn't answering on the walkie and
Yeah.
Right.
so, like, to me and, like, Julep getting into the car and going to the crime scene, and, like, to me, I was just really proud to have written that because I wrote what I pictured when I was, thinking
Yeah.
through it,
Mhm.
so that might be one of my favorites.
Okay, so how do you manage to keep track of details, character arcs, etcetera, across the series? Like, how do you organize all of that?
Oh gosh, with a prayer? I don't know. No, I have really great, beta readers and a
Mhm.
PA that helps me keep track of those things. Um, I also am lucky enough to have, folks that will do content pulls for me and
Uh-huh.
help me
Mhm.
keep track of those.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's hard. It's it's tricky. Like, who owns what shop
Yeah.
and what is their
Right.
Right.
I feel like I've gotten a little bit better now that I am working with audio production because
Mhm.
you do need to keep track of, okay, well, you know what, this person is in her early 50s, but she's 50, so she shouldn't sound like an 80-year-old,
Mhm.
like so
Right.
like details like that I think help
Mhm.
I help I feel like I remember more because
Yeah.
I need to describe that to someone else to be able to, you know, portray it.
Have you felt like when you were writing and you've gotten so far into a book, have you felt like you needed to go back and change something based on, like, kind of how the story unfolded, like, as you got into it?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yeah, I think that is part of my process.
Okay.
Um, I think a lot of my developmental editing has a lot to do with what feels right and feels natural for the characters.
Mhm.
So while like they have this phrase called sometimes you have to cut the darling,
Mhm.
you know, and a lot of times that could be a character or a scene that you were like really hoping would work. But
Right.
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to say, doesn't it's not working. It's not feeling
Yeah.
natural. It's not flowing properly. This will feel awful. And I've had to do that
Mhm.
plenty of times.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, often I go back and have to make adjustments to the story because it just doesn't feel right or the way the
Mhm.
characters have evolved and you know the first half of the book might feel might feel like something's off, so I need to go back and
Mhm.
change maybe an interaction that they've had or like an internal dialogue that I wasn't expecting. Yeah, it is a process, and I feel
Yeah.
like, every author I talk to handles their storytelling differently,
Mhm.
and I'm, like, trying to be kinder about there not being a right and a wrong way,
Right.
you know, just the way that works for you,
Yeah,
so
Yeah.
right. Everybody has their own process. Like every author we've talked to has had a completely different process.
Mhm.
So whatever works
yeah.
for you, because it seems to be working for them.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, the goal is to put out, right, a great book, and
Right.
as so
Right.
as long as it gets there, that's the game plan.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there a scene that you can tell us? If not, it's okay. But is there a scene that you can tell us from any of the books that you had to cut out because it didn't fit?
Oh, I think most of my important scenes fit. Um, I'm trying to remember if I cut something out, I clearly didn't love it enough to remember it.
Right.
So I think any yeah, so I think like anything that really needed to stick stayed there.
Yeah.
I would definitely say that like maybe at the point in which you entered a scene,
Mhm.
maybe was, you know, ended up different, but
Yeah.
like the location maybe is the same, that type of
Yeah.
thing.
Is there a scene or a character that people have ended up loving more than you intended them to or even thought that they would?
Um No, I mean, I think people really love Grizz,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it was gonna be really hard for me to think people wouldn't love him.
Right.
Mhm.
Um, I think when you get to book 3, I think you question a little bit, like, if he's looking out for everybody's best interest,
Mhm.
but I mean, I did that on purpose, you know,
Yeah.
like, there's purpose for him in each story. I think people like with every book, right, you have, like, a great side character and
Yes.
Mhm.
people ask, like, "I want their story." I tried to give as much of Grizz's story as I could,
Mhm.
I was
throughout
gonna
the
say
series.
we need a Grizz like novella, like from
I know,
beginning
right?
to end. Like I would love that so much. You're gonna when you get to book 3, you're
Um,
gonna love
I'm
Grizz.
excited.
Yeah, he's a
He
good
is a super fun character. Um, so do you see yourself in any of the characters that you've written, or like which one is the most like you?
I mean, I think there are parts of me in all of them,
Mhm.
Mhm.
but I don't write books about me.
Yeah. Mhm.
You know, like they're like I look at the way that I tell stories as if I'm a director and in the director's chair and I have a
Sure.
plan for them.
Yes.
Think a lot of my like a lot of whatever I've experienced comes through maybe as in their internal
Yeah.
dialogue. You know, like how Lainey sees herself in that story. I've
Mhm.
been in situations where I've seen myself in similar ways, right? Like I
Yes.
did not run from a serial killer. However,
Yes.
I have been in scenarios, you know, where you have heard someone badmouth you and you're like,
Right.
how do I
Mhm.
deal with this? Like that sucks.
Yes.
So I think there's like elements to like life experiences that
Mhm.
I've had that,
Mhm.
you know, come through in certain scenes, but nah, these girls are their own girls. It's,
Yeah.
you know, guys too. They're not modeled after anybody other than like maybe a really great version of a fictional character. Um,
Yes.
you know, something.
Okay, so talking about the couples, if the series was to be adapted into some sort of film, TV series, movie, do you have people in mind like you visualize as who would represent the couples? Like who would be like the perfect person for that role?
I have thoughts. It's funny, like, I love to keep an open mind about it, right? Because
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
like you think about, okay, well, Lainey is a redhead, so who are like
Yeah.
the redheads of the world? But
Right.
Mhm.
honestly, like, you know, you could be a blonde and dye your hair red, like she
Yeah.
did, you
Exactly.
know?
Yeah.
So like, do I have thoughts about great FMCs? Totally. Like
Mhm.
I look at Faye and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I could picture like Dove Cameron
Oh,
as that,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I
Um,
can see it in the face.
and like I could see like Gina Rodriguez as Hadley because I just
Okay.
love her and just about
Yeah.
everything
Mhm.
she does. So I don't know. I think I think it's like visually you can picture certain actors and like fan
Mhm.
cast
Uh-huh.
them.
Yeah.
But truly the only one that I thought of while I was writing them
Yeah.
is is for Grizz.
Okay.
Um I know, and, like, everyone's like, "Well, who would you picture for, like, Grant or Lincoln?" But I'm, like, wondering if I can send you a picture of, like, who,
Okay.
um yeah, so I don't know if you would know what he looks like, but his name is Sam Waterson. He's,
Okay.
like, he's an older actor.
Mhm.
He had his day, like, in the late '70s and '80s, but, like, as he's gotten older, he 100% is
Oh my
in still
gosh.
acting, you
Oh,
know?
yeah.
I'll put up
Like,
a picture when I post the podcast so
yeah,
people can see. I love that
That's
so much.
he's
awesome.
and, like, he's got, like, that stash that's just,
Oh,
like,
Yes.
yeah.
a character in and of itself, and he's got, like, that gravel, that gruff
Mhm.
voice.
Yes.
So, like, fan casting is fun, but, like, man, Sam Waterston to me was Grizz. Like, as I'm writing him, I could picture him leaning on the wall like that and talking like that and the smirk with the stash, so
Yes.
Well, I was telling Kaylee, like, the covers of the books
Yes.
have the most realistic style men that I've ever seen, and I'm like, I don't know if I could ever find someone to match what they look like because those are so
I know.
good.
I know, they were stunning. So, the cover illustrator so I had 2 designers. I had an illustrator do the character art, and then I had my cover designer do, like, the typography and all of that.
Yeah.
But Lonnie Carr, who goes under the Whiskey Ginger, did the character illustrations, and they're so beautiful.
There
They're
Like,
so
are.
good.
so gorgeous, and, like, the first time when I first saw, like, her sketches of them, I was just like,
Mhm.
okay, so
Yes.
now what's inside needs to be incredible." Like,
Yeah.
I got excited and equally nervous because I'm like, "Oh my gosh, people are going to go wild over these."
Mhm.
Um, and so when she's, shared the Bourbon and Lies, first draft with me, I was like, "Oh gosh, you're gonna need to do the whole series." Because we weren't sure at first if this was gonna work, right?
Mhm.
She hadn't done romance covers in the past.
Yeah.
She was doing tons of art. She's doing designs for like anthropology and like some
Uh-huh.
country singers and she has artwork everywhere. So I was like, on a whim, would you ever consider doing cover art for a book? And she was like, it's on my bucket list. And that
Absolutely.
was like the beginning of a beautiful scenario.
Yeah.
And now I just need an illustration of Grant in a cowboy hat on a horse, please.
Oh my
That's
gosh, I hear you. I know there is a version of him on the back of the paperback,
Mhm.
on a horse,
Oh.
but he's wearing his baseball cap because he hadn't at that point, like, that was,
Hold
like,
on. I got
how
it right
she
here.
saw him.
Oh,
Yeah,
I missed that
Oh my gosh, I
completely.
did too. I have it right
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
here.
Oh, man. Yep, that's it.
Well, that's all I needed.
Yep.
gorgeous,
I can
right?
visualize
Oh my gosh,
the cowboy
yes.
hat.
Yeah.
That's why I was so
There's just
happy
something.
you kept the covers because the books are
Yeah,
getting re-released. Or
yep, they're getting
did
re-released by both Bloom in North America and Atria in UK,
That's
Australia, New
Mhm.
awesome.
Zealand, and the publishers, like, loved the covers, it was, like,
Oh,
Yes.
such a vibe. The whole
yes.
series together had that really vintage,
Mhm.
Mhm.
throwback, style to it, so that was, like, a big hope. I was like, "If we're gonna do
Yeah.
trad print, like, I really wanna, like, maintain that vibe," and they loved it. They're
Mhm.
all about it, So I was very lucky that they agreed.
Yeah.
I'm such like a visual person
Mhm.
when I read, and so like the cover was what set the mood for me as I was going, and I was like, okay, I know exactly like what I'm visualizing while I'm reading this
I
book,
love that.
and it's
Same, same.
incredible.
I mean, I pick up books based on covers all the time because,
Yes.
Yes,
that's the game. That's
yes.
the name of the
Absolutely.
game.
If you had to go on a road trip with any one of your characters, who would you choose?
Oh, man. Okay, so, like, who would be fun in the car? Honestly, I think Hadley would be the
I was
most
gonna
fun.
say Hadley would definitely be my
Yeah.
pick, I think.
Like, I wouldn't be bored. I think if
Right.
I went on a road trip with Grant, it would just be, like, a lot of listening to music. Like, I
Yes.
feel like minimal interaction. Maybe
Right.
Lincoln would make it fun too, right? But then
Yeah.
Oh,
I
for
feel like
sure.
the girls would be in the back
Yeah.
and,
Mhm.
kids in a long drive sounds awful.
It is.
Um,
Yeah.
It
right?
is.
But yeah, I think Hadley would be a good one.
I do too. She's a fun time.
So how do you deal with writer's block or burnout when you're writing in your series or any of your books?
Um, I think you just keep writing.
Mhm,
Sometimes you have to take a break, right? Like sometimes if scenes aren't coming to you, if writing is just feeling like pulling teeth, you need to walk away for a little bit,
Mhm.
right? And it could be as quick as like leaving and going for a walk. I live in a beach town, so
Yeah.
a drive to the beach and a walk on the boardwalk isn't that far for me.
mhm.
Um, I have 2 kids, so sometimes just getting lost in something that has nothing to do with the book universe is
Yeah.
a good palate cleanser. Sometimes it does the opposite. Sometimes it actually that's what creates the block because you're like, "Oh, there's, 5th grade drama, like, I don't wanna be a part of
Oh,
this."
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but, I think the way that I deal with it is, give yourself a breather. I think what's really helpful is having like a team that's supportive. So like I've got an exceptional PA, an editor, an agent that just sort of helps boost my morale when I'm feeling really in it. Um, and then just to keep writing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm finding that if I take too long away from my keyboard or my story, it's
Mhm.
harder for me to get back in.
Oh,
Yeah.
So all of that sounds so counterintuitive because I'm like, get up and walk away, but then to keep writing. Like, I
Right.
think
that
it's
makes
really,
sense.
yeah, I think for like a block, true writer's block where you like really can't write anything for months at a time. I've been lucky enough to not experience that. I have a lot of colleagues that have, and sometimes that's what they need is a break,
Yeah.
right? They just need a minute to like get out of it and to feel inspired again. And I think that's the core of it, right? You just need to feel inspired because if you don't love what you're writing, the people that are reading it probably won't love it either,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, that makes
No,
sense.
that does make sense.
What is the funniest or most unhinged message anyone's ever sent you about your books?
Oh gosh. I get a lot of great messages
Yes.
about my
Mhm.
books. Like I feel very lucky in that regard. I mean, I've gotten like really, I don't know if it's like unhinged. I have to get audacious messages about
Okay.
my book. Right? Like I've used a word that they don't like far too many times,
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
which I just find uh I mean there's audacity in sending that to an author, right? But there's also I'm
Right.
kind of like, good for you. Like way to tell me. uh, so I don't know. Um I have not experienced too atrocious of human beings, which is
That's very
really
good.
I feel
Yes.
That's
thankful
really
for.
nice. Yeah.
But it is wild to get messages about making somebody's day like so much better or to feel like you're whatever you wrote like relieved them from whatever stress they're dealing with in real life. Like to
Mhm.
me that's
Mhm.
not unhinged, it's just wonderful.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
um
Right.
it's really good to do that because I get it. Like sometimes life is heavy and you just need
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
escape it. To be able to write things that people find can be an escape just feels good.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay, so I guess the last couple questions that we have for you, like what is next for you with this whole re-release that's coming up? And can you tell us anything about like any upcoming books or series that
yeah.
you got going on?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so you guys know, so the Bourbon series, the Bourbon
Mhm.
Boys
Mhm.
will re-release in early 2026.
Mhm.
Yes.
Bloom and Atria will release in North America and Australia, New Zealand, and the UK. And it's gonna be pretty fast. So like
Yeah.
January is Bourbon and Lies, February is Bourbon and Secrets,
Oh, wow.
March is Bourbon and Proof, and then April will be released the first book in my Whiskey Women series,
I'm so
which
excited.
I'm excited for. So yeah, so we're gonna take a little trip away from Fiasco, Kentucky, and go to a place called Rumor, Tennessee.
Okay.
And
Oh, okay.
it'll be a 3-book series, 3 sisters, um, and sort of their entire journey. Uh,
Oh,
but
I love this.
there is a connection character
Okay, I was about to
from
Okay.
say,
Bourbon.
have we met any of the
Yeah,
characters?
yeah, so you have technically technically you have not yet met the FMC,
Okay.
for book 1 in Whiskey Women, but you have met the male main character. So
Oh,
once you read Bourbon and Proof, you will meet this, like, dashingly delicious man named Julian, also known as the Jeweler.
it's about Julian? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
It's about Julian. So Julian is a jeweler, goldsmith by day.
Okay.
And by, grayish night, he cleans crime scenes
Yes.
as favors.
Yes, he does.
Wow.
It is Julian's story. He will be the male main character for the first book in the series. So I can't wait. I'm writing it now. I'm in the
Yeah.
throes of editing, which is probably why I totally missed the
No,
original
No,
time
you're
you're
frame.
totally
so
fine.
fine.
It's
So fine.
understood. It's
Yes.
understood.
Yeah.
I am so excited.
Oh, that is
I
exciting.
am so excited.
I
Yeah,
will
but I can't wait.
100% be
Like,
finishing it.
I can't wait. Like, I'm excited to be in
Mhm.
a new town. Like, it's a new
Mhm.
small
Uh-huh.
town. It's definitely a little bit grittier than
Yeah.
the Bourbon Boys. But yeah, it's a fun. I think it's gonna be a really fun series. And I think it'll hit pretty hard. So I can't
I
wait.
absolutely love when like series follow like a
Mhm.
band of brothers or sisters because I just love seeing reoccurring characters in the
Same,
books.
same.
Mhm.
So, will
And
we
like a
see
connect
any of the Bourbon Boys in the books? Or
maybe.
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 Like,
It was like,
maybe.
"Please."
I just feel like it's really hard to say goodbye. Like if you
Yes.
read if you read Bourbon and Secrets, if
Mhm.
you read Bourbon and Proof, you actually will have met some characters from my first series.
Okay.
Um
Mm.
so there is a pilot that takes Faye somewhere important in book 2. His name is
Mhm.
Henry. He is the male main character of my book Hide and Peak from my first
Okay.
series.
Oh.
And then, if you read Bourbon and Proof, you will meet a few people. You'll meet G, who's also the FMC from Hide and Peak, but you'll also meet Tessa and Law, who
Yeah.
are the main characters from A Peak Performance, which is the 4th book in my first
Okay.
series.
Oh, I love that.
So I like to weave those in for people that have been around for a long
Mhm.
time, but it's also
Yeah.
like a really fun way. Like when there's a lull between series
Yeah.
releasing, if
Mhm.
people are like loving my writing, then they
Mhm.
can, find new places.
Oh, for
Absolutely. I'm so
sure.
excited about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
Well, thank you for hopping on and chatting with us
this
about
was fun.
Oh, thank
all
you
of
guys.
these books. We're so excited for the new series coming up, and
Yeah, definitely check out the re-release or read it now. I read it on my Kindle. Like,
yeah.
you wanna read it now, honestly.
I
Yep.
personally recommend the audios.
Yes, the audios came out so great. Like, wow. Like, narrators to me are just this insanely talented, world that if you have never listened to an audiobook, it's not like just a book being read
Mhm.
aloud. It is,
Mm-mm.
so many are talented enough to basically act,
Oh, yeah.
like
Oh,
audibly act out what's
yes.
been written. And it's just amazing. My narrators, I'm obviously biased, but you know, Samantha Brentmore and Connor Crace did Bourbon and
Mhm.
Lies, and they were exceptional. Lee Samuels and
Yes.
Megan Wicks did Bourbon and Secrets. And then for Bourbon and Proof, it was Victoria Connolly as Hadley, and then Sean Masters as Ace. And like they all just brought like something new and
Mhm.
really delicious to the table. I mean, they're married in duet, which in my opinion is like
The best.
ideal, especially for
Yes.
intimate scenes.
Mhm.
Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, the audios were a blast.
I would say the audios for the Bourbon Boys and Lights Out audio are my top audios of all time. Of all
Oh, I
time.
love that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
They were like I just love a good duet. And then I loved the gravelly, like they sounded like they were from Kentucky, you know what I mean? They did a good job.
Yeah, and it's so tricky too, like, when you're talking with producers about how you want characters to sound, do you want them to have, like, a accent or, do you need to know exactly
Mhm.
where they're from? It's a tricky balance of figuring out, okay, what can I give them that sounds like a place that they could be from
Mhm.
without making the reader so aware of it that it bothers them,
Right.
right?
Did you get to,
So,
like,
yeah.
handpick these people? Like, were you able to be in the process of that? That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so I feel lucky to I so the reason that the audio was not, simultaneously released, the way that was
Mhm.
staggered out is because I produced the audio myself with, One Night Stand Studios. So
Mhm.
professionally, I had people doing it for me, but financially, I paid for
Yeah.
it,
Right.
um, and was able to choose all of my narrators, pick out who I wanted, worked around their schedules, and that was just a really fantastic process,
Mhm.
and it felt like I was learning it was basically learning a new part of this industry because,
Yeah.
Right.
there are narrators that people love and adore, so you need to find people that aren't just, like, favorites, but
Mhm.
you also need to make sure they fit with your character, and, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's it's definitely challenging, but I think when you find the right folks and you have, like, a really great
Yeah.
production company to help
Mhm.
you, execute it, it's so worth it. So, yeah, I feel really lucky. The success that Bourbon and Lies had with
Mhm.
readers allowed me to do the
Yeah.
audios for
Mhm.
for the rest of the series. So, I feel really lucky to my readers. They got to have
Yeah.
audiobooks because
Yeah.
they loved it, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, and they are so good. Make sure you go check out the audios or read on Kindle Unlimited ASAP. I'm gonna be buying the new. Oh wait, you're going to a book con next year in July, right?
Mhm.
Is
Yeah,
it
I'm going to
the?
2. I'm going to Book Besties in Knoxville and,
That's where we're going to.
Yeah, and Smutmas and the Smokies in Nashville, yep.
Yes.
Oh,
So
I've heard of that one. Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
so we will see you
Yeah.
at the
Awesome.
Knoxville one. Yeah, I'm so excited.
Yay! Are you guys going just as readers, or are you gonna have, like, a booth and
No,
everything?
we're just
Oh,
going as readers.
readers. Readers.
We're we're not that popular yet. Maybe one day.
Okay.
Maybe one
We should
day.
we should do, like, a little something while you're there then, I would love
Oh,
to.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
That would be so much fun.
Yeah, we're so excited to go to
Oh,
that.
well, thank you again for joining
Mhm.
us.
Yeah, for
And
having
check
me.
out
Yeah.
Whiskey Women in April. I'm so excited.
Oh, yes.
All right, and we will see you guys in the next video.
All right. Bye.
Bye.